Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we are going to discuss a biology chapter in which we are going to discuss the topic cell. As we all know that all the things in this universe are composed of tiny particles called atoms, which are responsible for its own structure and its own function. Similarly, the living bodies are also composed of some tiny particles which are known as cells. So, the cell is the thing which is responsible for their own structure and the function. Let's take an example of an organ known as kidney. The function of kidney is to filter your blood and helps in the process of excretion. The cells which form the kidney are known as nephrons. So each and every nephron has its own structure and has its own function. Meanwhile, it also contributes to the whole function of the kidney, which is the excretion, while it also contributes to the structure of kidney. So the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of life. All the living organisms, whether they are unicellular or multicellular. So what are unicellular and multicellular? Let's break the word and then find out what does they mean. Unicellular, uni means one, cellular means cell. So the organisms which are formed by the single cell, or they are single celled organisms, they are known as unicellular, like amoeba, while the organisms which are formed by more than one cells are known as multicellular organisms, like the human body or the plant body, which are composed of indefinite cells or numerous cells which we cannot count. So the gist is that all the organisms, whether they are single celled or multi celled, they are made up of cells. So you can see the figure which I have pasted over here, which is comprises of some of the parts. So these parts are known as the organelles, like the nuclear envelope, nucleus, cytoplasm, Golgi apparatus, mitochondrion, cell membrane, endoplasmic reticulum, lysosomes, ribosomes. All these things comprises a cell. These parts or organelles we are going to discuss in the further videos. So let's move on to the next slide. Let's see the discovery of a cell, how a cell is being discovered. So the Robert Hooke was the first scientist who discovered the cell. An English scientist was the first person to observe cell. So he has performed the experiment in which he has observed a thin slice of cork. What is a cork? As you can see in these figures, the caps of the caps of the bottles like champagne or the wine are referred as the cork, which are made up of wood. So he has observed the thin slice of the cork under the primitive microscope. So what is the primitive microscope? Children, at that time the microscopes or the science was not so advanced as in our era. So they use the primitive microscopes which they have own or their self-made microscope and used the term cell. So he was the first scientist who has discovered the cell and has named the term cell. So let's move on to a different slide. He has observed Robert Hooke has observed the cells which are too tightly, or the tiny particles which are too closely and tightly packed, that he referred them initially as the honeycomb. What is a honeycomb? The place where the wasps or the honeybees reside. So let's find out what is the cell theory. As you can see in this slide, the cell theory is given by three scientists, Schleiden, Schwen and Virchow. So let's discover their contributions. Robert Hooke found cells by looking at a thin piece of cork. He said that these cells looked like tiny boxes or honeycomb. So this what I have just told you. In 1673, Anton von Leeuwenhoek used a handmade microscope to look at pond scum and discovered single cell organelles. So what he has discovered? He has discovered the single cell organelles. He called them unimolecules. What are they called? Unimolecules. He also looked at blood cells from fish, birds, frogs and humans. He concluded that cells were in plants and animals, means all the plants and animals are composed of cells. In 1838, Matthias Scladden, he is also known as M.J. Scladden, found that all plants parts are made up of cells. So all plants are also made up of cells. In 1839, Theodor Schwann found that all animal cells are composed of cells. Animals are composed of cells. While in 1878, Rudolf Virchow concluded that cells must arise from cells that are already there. Like, suppose this is a cell, so when they have to divide, they divide in this form and contributes to the formation of two different cells. So means cells arise from pre-existing cells, means no cell is responsible. This is a cell. This is a cell. When it replicates, it divides into two. So it means that cells arise from pre-existing cells. Nothing is responsible for their division. Only some binary fission or techniques which are responsible. So this is what the cell theory is. Let's discover in the another slide. So what does the cell theory means? A cell theory states that all living organisms are made up of one or more than one. The organisms which are made up of one cells are known as unicellular, and with more cell are called multicellular than one cells. Cell is the structural and functional unit of any living organism, while new cells arise from pre-existing cells. So this is what the cell theory means, that all the living organisms are made up of cells. Cell is the structural and functional unit of the living organism, while the cells divide from their own parent cell. So let's move to the different slide. What are the activities performed by a cell? So we said that the cell is the basic structure. So what is the structure? All the organs which have their particular structure are being formed by the same type of cells. And functions means what are the functions that can be performed by a cell? It can carry out all biological processes, means all the metabolic activities can be performed by cell, like respiration, digestion, excretion, circulation, and all those the biological processes which occur in our body. Oxidizes food to yield energy, which is the process of digestion, exchange of gases and respiration. So it also performs respiration, like any body part. Let's take an example of your heart. So your heart also needs some energy to circulate the blood throughout your body. So hence the cells of the heart are also doing digestion in order to yield energy, while it also requires oxygen to break down the food for digestion. So the exchange of gases or respiration is also done by the cell which is in the heart. it can replicate their own. So let's take an example, like you have a cut on your finger. After 1 or 2 or maximum 1 week, the skin of the finger will come as such as it was earlier. So hence the cells of your skin are self-replicating and repairing, means that they can repair their own selves. Each cell has its own lifespan. So cells can also replicate, means divide their own, while they have also their own lifespan. Like RBCs have lifespan of 120 days, means once they are replicated, the daughter cell of the RBC have 120 days span, and after that they are being replaced by the new cells. So I hope all the functions which are performed by our cells are very clear. It can carry out all biological processes, digestion, respiration, replication of their own. They can also reproduce, or they can also have their own lifespan, and many more functions which are performed by the cell. Let's move on to the different slides in which we are going to discover a prokaryotic cell and a eukaryotic cell. So let's discover out what does these terms initially means. Prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Let's break the word once again. Pro means primitive, means old, while karyotic means carry on. Children in biology, karyotic or karyon, Karyon, is referred to the biological name of a nucleus. So the cells which have a early, primitive or old nucleus are known as prokaryotic cells, while U means new or complete, means it is not incomplete. Eukaryotic means new, and karyotic means U means new, karyotic means again nucleus. So new or complete nucleus is referred to as the eukaryotic cells. So let's read out further on. Early or primitive nucleus, the cells which have early or primitive nucleus are prokaryotic, and the new or complete nucleus are being done by eukaryotic cells. Very small nuclear membrane absent, comparatively large nuclear membrane present. So they are too small while they are comparatively large. The nuclear membrane, the membrane in which the nucleus is being found, or the genetic material is there, are the nuclear membrane. So in prokaryotes we have nuclear membrane absent, while in the new eukaryotic cells we have the nuclear membrane. No true nucleus, only a central nuclear region called nucleoid. So only there is a central, like this is the cell, there is no particular structure for the nucleus, while there is a central charge which is known as nucleoid, while we have a distinct nucleus in eukaryotes. Genetic material is not enclosed in a membrane. What is genetic material? The DNA, which is responsible for the hereditary. Genetic material is enclosed in a membrane for eukaryotes. So why there is a membrane across the genetic material? To protect it. Yes, this type of cells are in bacteria. These type of cells are found in bacteria. So initially the bacteria have the prokaryotic type of cells, while the cells which are in plants and animals are eukaryotes, means eukaryotic cell which have new or complete nucleus. So let's move on to a different slide. So for this particular video we are ending the topic over here only. So I hope